Welcome to the Fear and Greed Afternoon Report for Monday, the 7th of March, 2022. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we'll bring you the 5 news items that you need to know about today. Let's jump into it. Story number 1 is the local market. The S&P ASX 200 finished down 1% today to 7,039 points, with travel stocks falling and oil and gas players surging. Early this morning, the US suggested it was discussing sanctions with Europe on oil and gas imports out of Russia. So far, oil and gas haven't been on the table. It triggered a surge in the price of Brent crude to a 13-year high of almost $140 a barrel and sent markets into a tailspin. Energy security and prices are fundamental to the global economy. Disruption of oil flows in Europe would trigger higher energy prices, including petrol prices in Australia. As a result, the big winners today were the oil and gas companies. Market leader Woodside jumped 9%, Beach Energy was up 6%, and Santos rose 5.5%. The big miners also benefited from a jump in iron ore prices, but most of the rest of the market went backwards. Tech companies were sold off, with the tech index down nearly 5%. Healthcare, telcos, and industrial stocks were all hit hard, but not many, in fact, none of the top 200, were hit as hard as Qantas. Its shares fell 8.5% on the news because more than 20% of its total cost base is jet fuel. Story number 2 is all about what's likely to happen on international markets tonight, and it ain't going to be pretty. Futures trading, which allows investors to take positions on what they expect will happen, suggests European markets will fall 3% tonight and Wall Street could tumble 2%. Asian markets today have already had a tough run. Japan's Nikkei was down 3%, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng dropped 2.5%. All in all, it's been a very tough 24 hours or so in financial markets. Story number 3. AGL has rejected the $8 billion bid for the company from tech billionaire Mike Cannon-Brookes and Canadian investment giant Brookfield. Instead, AGL will go ahead with its plan to split the business into two. One with the clean assets, including energy retailing, and the other housing the dirty assets, including coal-fired power stations. Mr. Cannon-Brookes and Brookfield made a revised offer over the weekend. That was rejected. Mr. Cannon-Brookes said the consortium was now putting their pens down with great sadness. Mr. Cannon-Brookes, who is never short of a word, tweeted that it was a terrible outcome for shareholders, taxpayers, customers, Australia, and the planet we share. There you go. Story number 4. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has announced 3 potential sites, Brisbane and Newcastle and Port Kembla in New South Wales, to house a naval base down the east coast. The preferred sites were narrowed down from a list of 19, and media reports suggest Port Kembla is the preferred option, at least from the Defence Forces. But a decision on which nuclear subs Australia will buy will not be made until after the federal election. Of course, that's due before the end of May. And finally, story number 5. Come on down, Donald Trump. The former US president over the weekend told the Republican Party's top donors that the United States should label its F-22 planes with the Chinese flag and bomb the SHIT out of Russia. That's according to the Washington Post. He also praised North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as seriously tough, claimed he was harder on Vladimir Putin than any other president, disparaged a range of prominent party opponents, and called global warming a great hoax that could actually bring a welcome development, more waterfront property. Not sure what to say about that. I suppose we just have to be thankful he's no longer president. That's it for the afternoon report for Monday, the 7th of March, 2022. Michael Thompson and I will be back tomorrow morning for the Tuesday edition of Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.